right, so we've read the value, we've stored it in LJY, and now we need to map it. So we need to map it from the analog values from the joystick, with their 0 to 1023, to a new range for the thruster motors, which is 1100 to 1900. Let's get to it. All right, so I'm going to start with a map command, so MAP in parentheses. And then the first thing you do is tell it where the data is that we're going to map. Well, we stored this joystick data in the LJY pin, so I'm going to double click there, Control C, Control V, comma, excuse me. The first two numbers are the starting low and high end of the starting range. So 0 to 1023 is where the LJY values currently are. And the next two numbers are where we want to move them to. So where's the mapping happening at? 1100, comma, 1900. So we're going to take this range from the 0 to 1023 and just shift it up to 1100, 1900. All right. And then semicolon. And again, Arduino would happily do this math for us. It would take whatever's in LJY of like 725. It would map it up to something like 1727 or whatever. And then it would instantly forget the number. So we need to, once again, tell it where to put this. So we need to do this thing over here. So we need to think about what numbers we're making. So we're making over here our front thrusters, or for me, my forward thruster or my front thruster speed number. So I'm going to call this F thruster speed equals, and make sure I spelled this right, F thruster speed. Yep. So I'm going to have it store this number in the F thruster speed variable that I have not created yet. So I'm going to double click on this variable and say Control C for the name. Come up here to my values. Okay, here's my servo angle one, so I'm probably going to put it underneath these. And then INT, Control F, and equals. And what's a good starting thruster speed? I think it's that off command of 1500 would be a good place to start. And that's that. So I've created my variable now, and now I can use it down here. So this works great. We need to first, let's put in a, let's go up here to find a mapping one and bring, yep, here we go, converts here. Take this comment down here, converts the joystick values into servo, oh, not servo, thruster values. Okay, great. So now we've done that. We've mapped it into our thruster map values, and now we need to see if it works. So again, I'm going to come up here and grab one of my serial prints up here, Control C and Control V. And I'm going to click on 82 to highlight the entire row, hit Control/ to uncomment that row, and serial print LSA. Okay, so I need a new word here, new thing here. I want FTS for front thruster speed. And then I'm going to double click on this variable, which is where my speed's currently stored, and I'm going to print that afterwards. And I actually need an LN here to kick me to a new line. So it'll print these words, this value, new line, these words, this value, over and over again. All right, let's click to the monitor. Oop, let's upload this. If this works, our joystick should now, instead of reading 0 to 1023, at the very bottom should be 1100, the middle should be about 1500, and the top should be 1900. All right, we see the FTS, so I'm going to rotate up. Oh, and notice just start with, I'm at 1498. That's that problem. It's going to be sending the motor a command to spin very slowly backwards. So we'll have to take care of that next. But I'll move it upwards, and sure enough, my values go up to 1900. I'll move it downward, and they should bottom out at 1100. Perfect. Everything's working great. So I'm just going to click on my sketchbook to hide that scrolling numbers over here. I'm going to click on 82 and do Control/ to recomment it, so it's not there anymore. And now we go back to we've gotten this part working. We're doing so well. Now we need to build in this if statement. So we need to check to see if the thruster speed is close to 1500. And if so, we're going to just make it 1500. All right. So that's going to require tab over an if statement. And we're going to say if, I'm going to double click here, if the thruster speed is, I don't know, maybe greater than 1475. I'll do 25 below and 25 above. And the thruster speed is less than 1525. So it means it's more than 1475, but less than 1525. It's right around that 1500 mark, within 25 of it. Now, normally I would put a semicolon here to end the line, but this is an if statement. So instead of ending the if, I want to open the if. So I'm going to use a curly brace, hit enter. Arduino automatically put in another curly brace for me, and anything I put inside these two curly braces is the code that's going to run when this is true up here. So when this is true, when I'm close to 1500, I want to make the thruster speed equal to 1500. Okay. And if it's not true, if it's not close to 1500, I don't want to do anything. So it's going to skip this step and just do whatever's next. All right. So now what we're going to do is come up here and grab this serial print up here, put it down here. The reason we can't run it up here is that when it prints, it would be printing this number and not the corrected number. So hopefully at this point, and I'm going to highlight 87 by clicking on it and then / to uncomment it, and I'm going to upload this. So even though it's the exact same line of code, when it prints is after it does this work, so we'll see the effect of this. Click on serial monitor and we'll see what's going on. Hopefully it won't be 1498. Hopefully it will be starting out at 1500. Oh, yay. So we fixed that problem. Now the only issue is that when I move it up, because I chose 25 as my starting range, you can see I can get down, but then when I hit 25, it goes instantly to 0. So if you want to, you can narrow these ranges down depending on where your joystick is reading. For mine, I might do a 1490 to 1510, just so that my stick isn't dead towards the middle as much. You want to try and make these relatively small, but always big enough so that you don't get that spinning motor at the when you want it to be off. All right, I think I'm going to do mine. I'm going to do mine to 90 and 1500 or 1510. Okay, some joysticks are just farther off from center than others. Make sure yours is working for what you're doing. I'm going to go ahead and comment this line back out. I don't need that serial print anymore. I know it's working. Open up a few more lines of code, a little bit of space. And now we've gotten this working. So if true, it changes it. If not, it skips it. We just need to do this last section here, which is send the servo the right microseconds. All right. So our servo, here's our servo command right here, lservo write. So the servo library was made for servo motors, not for brushless motors. But because it's such a nice library, they actually created a new command in the servo library that can run brushless motors. And that new command is write microseconds. So the way this works is you name your motor first. So we need to name our motor. So let's go up and name our motor real quick. So to name our motor, we come up here to the servo part, and I'm just going to copy, paste this line of code. And I'm going to change F servo to, well, actually F, it works great. I'm going to change it to F thruster. Okay, so I just made a servo instance called F thruster, and now I need to tell it where I've attached that at. So I'm going to actually click on this one and go Control-C, Control-V, Control-V. And I'm going to call this one, I'm going to say, okay, my F thruster is attached at the F thruster pin. Now I just started using some variables I haven't created yet, so I'm going to double click this, Control-C, come up here to my pin numbers, and I'm going to put that Yep, right below my servo pins, INT, for an integer variable, Control V, and mine is plugged into 10. Again, if yours isn't, either rewire it and make it 10, or more easily, just put this number to be whatever yours is. And then I also made, okay, nope, this already made, so F thruster. Hopefully, if I double click on this F thruster, it turns purple. This one should also turn purple. If they don't, one of them's misspelled. You need to make sure they're the same. So we created a servo instance so we can have the motor. And maybe I want to put thruster here. And then we told the Arduino where we attach that at, what pin it's in. And now we just need to write the angle. And we'll do that in the next video.